Here's the deal. 5 minutes a day, one walking technique, and you will start rebuilding leg strength you thought was gone for good, faster than any amount of regular walking could ever get you there. Not by walking more, not by walking faster, by walking in a way that actually forces your leg muscles to work instead of letting momentum do the job for them. Worst case, you've lost 5 minutes. Best case, you get your strength back. Here's what nobody tells you about just walk more, the advice you've probably heard 100 times. Every normal step you take, your weight shifts from one leg to the other in a fraction of a second, and momentum does most of the work. Your leg muscles barely have to engage to hold you up, because you're never actually asked to fully support your weight on one leg for more than an instant. You can walk 3 miles a day for years and still feel your legs weaken underneath you, because that walk was never built to load those muscles hard enough. The muscles responsible for catching you when you stumble, the ones that get you off the toilet, out of the car, up the stairs, never get trained. That's not a flaw in you, that's a flaw in the advice. Here's the exact fix, and it comes from an old method suddenly getting a lot of attention again, often called Chinese walking, out of Tai Chi. Slow that same weight transfer down to 3 or 4 full seconds per leg instead of a fraction of a second, and the muscles on the outside of your hip, the ones that keep you steady on one leg, have to hold your full weight under control instead of getting a free pass from momentum. That's the entire trick. Not walking more or faster, walking slower on purpose in a very specific way. One quick thing before we get into it. Let us know down in the comments what your age is and whether you can still get up from a low chair or climb a flight of stairs without holding the railing. It's a great way to see where the rest of this community is at. Don't skip the next part. It's the piece almost everyone gets wrong on their own. And getting it right is the entire difference between this working and just doing a slow, pointless version of your normal walk. The foundation, the weight shift step. Before we string steps together into an actual walk, isolate the piece that makes this whole method work. Stand with your feet a little wider than hip width apart, knees soft and slightly bent, never locked straight. Keep your weight low and your posture tall through your spine. Now, without moving your feet yet, slowly shift your entire body weight onto your right leg, fully to the point where your left leg feels light enough that you could lift it off the ground without wobbling. Do this slowly, over a count of 3 to 4 seconds, not in one quick lean. Once your weight is fully settled onto that right leg, pause there for a second. Then slowly shift back to center and just as slowly over to your left leg. Back and forth, always moving slowly, always pausing once you've arrived fully on one side. This is the entire foundation of the technique. Full, controlled, unhurried weight transfer, not a partial lean. If your balance feels shaky at first, good. That means you've found the muscles that need the work. Stand near a countertop or the back of a sturdy chair and rest your fingertips there for support while you practice, without letting your hand actually take your weight. As your balance improves, you'll need that support less and less. Here's the posture detail that changes everything about how effective this is. Keep your knees soft the entire time, even when your weight is fully settled on one leg. Locked knees let your skeleton hold you up instead of your muscles, which defeats the purpose completely. Keep your spine long and your chest open too, without leaning your torso side to side as you shift. It's tempting to let your whole body lean toward whichever leg is carrying the weight, but your hips should do that work while your torso stays stacked above your pelvis. If you catch yourself swaying dramatically with your shoulders, the work is landing in the wrong place. A common mistake is rushing the shift or only moving halfway, leaning slightly without ever fully committing your weight to one leg. If you can still comfortably lift your other foot off the ground without any wobble, you haven't shifted far enough yet. Full commitment to one leg at a time is what makes this work. Give yourself at least several days on just this weight shift before moving on. It's common for one leg to feel noticeably more stable than the other, and that's useful information. It tells you which side needs more attention. Turning the weight shift into a walk. Once the weight shift feels reasonably steady, here's how it becomes an actual walking pattern. Start in the same soft-kneed stance. Shift your weight fully onto your right leg. Now, with your left leg light and unweighted, lift it slightly and place it down a small step forward, heel touching first, but don't shift your weight onto it yet. Pause there with your weight still on your back leg. Only once you've paused, slowly transfer your weight forward onto that front leg over several slow seconds until it's fully weighted and your back leg is now the light one. Repeat on the other side. That's the whole pattern. Step, pause, slowly transfer weight, over and over, moving forward a few feet at a time. Keep your knees soft throughout and keep your torso upright rather than leaning forward to rush things along. Coordinate your breathing with it too, in as you lift and place your foot, out slowly as you transfer your weight into the new step. Turning around deserves its own attention because it's actually one of the more common places people lose their balance in everyday life, and it's where this technique pays off the most. Instead of pivoting quickly the way you normally would, turn slowly, using small controlled steps, keeping your weight fully shifted onto one leg before you move the other foot at all. Take 3 or 4 small steps to complete the turn rather than spinning around in one motion. This is exactly the skill that prevents the kind of stumble that happens when you turn quickly to answer someone calling your name. Try this across a room, turn around slowly, and walk back. 5 or 10 minutes is genuinely enough to feel it working. This is not about covering distance, it's about time spent loading each leg fully and slowly. Pick a consistent, quiet stretch of flat ground to practice on. A hallway works well. Uneven ground or thick carpet adds a balance challenge you're not ready for yet while you're still learning the pattern. Once it feels steady on flat ground, you can gradually try slightly more varied surfaces, but there's no rush to get there. Progressing once you're ready, don't rush this. If the basic pattern starts to feel manageable, here's a natural progression. As you place your front foot down and begin the slow weight transfer, hold the pause a beat or two longer before committing your weight forward. You can also add gentle arm movement, letting your arms float up and out to your sides as you shift weight forward, then settle back down as you arrive. Another progression is narrowing your stance slightly, bringing your feet a little closer together than your normal walking width. A narrower base of support makes the balance demand noticeably greater. Only try this on flat, familiar ground, ideally still near something sturdy to hold on to. A more advanced variation some people eventually work up to is briefly closing their eyes during the weight shift while standing safely next to a wall or countertop. Removing your vision forces your body to rely more heavily on your inner ear and the sensors in your feet and ankles. This is absolutely not a starting point, and it should only be attempted with support nearby. Only add any of this once the basic weight-shifting pattern feels steady. The slow version done well is doing more for your legs than a faster or fancier version done sloppily. Mistakes that quietly ruin this. Speed is the #1 issue. Going through the motions quickly because slow feels awkward or unfamiliar. If you're shifting weight in under a second or two, you've drifted back into a regular walking pattern without realizing it. Count slowly in your head 1, 2, 3, 4 during each weight shift just to keep yourself honest. Leaning your torso instead of shifting your hips is another common one. If your shoulders are swaying dramatically side to side while your hips stay centered, the work is landing in the wrong place. Practice in front of a mirror for the first few sessions to check. Holding your breath is a surprisingly common habit during slow, effortful movements. It tends to spike tension through your neck and shoulders. Keep your breathing slow and steady throughout. And don't skip the countertop or chair support too early. There's no benefit to struggling through this unsupported before you're ready, and it mostly increases your risk of an actual stumble while you're still learning. Use support for as long as you genuinely need it and let go of it naturally as your balance improves, not as a personal challenge. One more mistake worth naming. Doing this once, deciding it feels silly or too slow, and quitting. Almost everyone feels a little foolish the first few sessions, moving this deliberately through your own living room. That feeling has nothing to do with whether it's working. Give it a real week before you decide anything about it. One more reason this works. The reason this works comes down to what's actually happening in your body. Slow weight shifting forces the stabilizing muscles on the outside of your hip to hold your full weight under control instead of getting bypassed by momentum the way they do in a normal step. It's also very gentle on your joints since there's no impact and no fast direction changes, which makes it realistic even if regular exercise has felt too hard on your knees or hips. And because you're moving slowly and deliberately, your brain has time to notice and correct small balance wobbles as they happen. That's often the real difference between catching yourself and taking a fall, since most falls come from a small stumble a steadier set of legs would have caught without you noticing. Building this into a routine, 5 to 10 minutes a day, is a reasonable place to start, practicing in a hallway, a quiet room, or outside on flat, even ground. Some days you might only manage the basic weight shift near a countertop. Other days you'll get through a few full walking lengths across a room. Both count. What matters is doing it consistently rather than pushing hard once and skipping it for a week. Here's a simple way to structure your first few weeks if it helps to have something concrete. In the first few days, spend your practice time entirely on the basic weight shift near a countertop or chair, right to left, slow and controlled, for 5 minutes. Once that starts to feel steady on both legs, usually within the first week or so, begin adding the actual stepping pattern, still near your support if needed. From there, gradually reduce how much you lean on that support, and start practicing the slow turn as well. Only once all of that feels comfortable should you consider adding the arm movements or the narrower stance. Some people move through these stages in a week, others take a month, and either pace is completely fine. Some days will simply feel more stable than others. That's normal. Fatigue and sleep affect it too, so don't read too much into a single off day. Give it a few weeks before judging whether it's helping. The changes tend to show up first in small, practical moments, feeling steadier stepping off a curb, more confident getting up from a low chair, catching your balance more easily if you stumble. You don't need to give up your regular walk to do this either. Your regular walk is still good for your heart and lungs. This fills in the strength and balance piece a regular walk was never designed to address. Some people do them back to back, others keep them fully separate. Whichever you'll actually stick with consistently is the right one. Before you go, the goal here isn't to master some elaborate new skill or look a certain way while doing it. The goal is to give your legs regular practice at the one thing modern walking rarely asks of them anymore, holding your full weight under control, one leg at a time. Everything else, the arm movements, the narrower stance, the eyes closed variation, is just an optional way to keep challenging yourself once the basics feel easy. If all you ever do is the simple version near your countertop, and you do it consistently, you're still getting the real benefit. Drop a comment below with your age and whether you can still get up from a low chair or climb stairs without holding the railing. It's a great place for folks in this community to share where they're at and learn from each other. And if this helped, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. One quick note before you go, everything in this video is for general informational purposes only and is not medical advice. It does not replace consultation with a qualified healthcare professional. If you have a specific condition, an injury, or anything that feels off when you move, please talk to a doctor before starting any new routine. They know your body and your history in a way no video can,